Moving to the issues at hand, this morning the national media is reporting that some of the, or a number of the attackers in Algeria are people who participated in the attack in Benghazi. Can you confirm that for us this morning?
Senator, I cannot confirm it. I can give you the background that I was able to obtain. This information is coming from the Algerian government related to their questioning of certain of the terrorists that they took alive. We don't have any way to confirm it as yet, but I can certainly assure you we will do everything we can to determine that. You may know that Director Mueller was just in the region meeting with leaders. He's very well aware that we have to track every one of these connections, and this will be a new thread that will be followed.
I appreciate that. Only one person has been arrested regarding the attack on Benghazi and was then released. Can you tell us whether he was one of the people that participated in the Algerian attack?
We have no information to that effect. I think you're referring to the Tunisian Harzi who appeared in a Tunisian court. Upon his release, I called the Tunisian Prime Minister. A few days later, Director Mueller met with the Tunisian Prime Minister. We have been assured that he is under the monitoring of the court. He was released because at that time, and Director Mueller and I spoke about this at some length, there was not an ability for evidence to be presented yet that was capable of being presented in an open court. But the Tunisians have assured us that they are keeping an eye on him. I have no reason to believe he is not still in Tunis, but we're checking that all the time.
Thank you. You just testified in your prepared remarks that you said, quote, the very next morning, which would have been Wednesday morning, I told the American people that, quote, heavily armed militants assaulted our compound and vowed to bring them to justice. I'm assuming that you had rock-solid evidence to make such a bold statement at that time.
Well, we had 4 dead people, and we had several injured, one seriously who's still in Walter Reed. And although we did not have the chance yet to meet with any of our returnees, our team in Tripoli had received them, gotten medical care for them, and had sent them on. So we knew that clearly there was an attack, a heavily armed attack. Who these people were, where they came from, why they did it, that was still to be determined.
I think you probably know where I'm going with this. The next sentence is, and I stood with President Obama as he spoke of an act of terror. Right. And of course there's been a lot of debate as to the context that the word terror was used in, but be that as it may, I want to move to the next Sunday morning when Ambassador Risch went to the Sunday morning talk shows. And I think we all realize this happened at a politically charged time here in the country as we approached an election. Notwithstanding that, the American people are still entitled to be told the truth about these. Did you select Ambassador Risch to deliver the message to the American people?
No, I did not, Senator, and let me take this opportunity to address this, because obviously, even though I haven't had a chance to testify, I certainly have seen the resulting debate and concerns about this. You're right. It was a terrorist attack. I called it an attack by heavily armed militants.
Well done.
And, you know, that is clearly what happened. We know that. But second, the harder question is, what caused it, and that we didn't know. We didn't know who the attackers were, what their motives were. Third, as the ARB makes clear after their months of research, the picture remains still somewhat complicated. And I say that because in the unclassified ARB, it is, I quote, key questions surrounding the identity, actions, and motivations of the perpetrators remain to be determined. I recommend that all members and staff read the classified version of the ARB, which goes into greater detail. I obviously can't speak to it, but it does go into greater detail because there were a variety of potential causes and triggers for this attack. There's evidence that the attacks were deliberate, opportunistic, and pre-coordinated, but not necessarily indicative of extensive planning. And fourth, Senator, I would say that I personally was not focused on talking points. I was focused on keeping our people safe because, as I said, I have a very serious threat environment in Yemen. It turned out we had people getting over that wall in Cairo, doing damage until we got them out. We had a serious threat against our embassy in Tunis. I had to call the president of Tunisia and beg him to send reinforcements, which he did, to finally save our embassy, which could have been a disastrous. They burned and trashed our school. So I was pretty occupied about keeping our people safe, doing what needed to be done in the follow-up to Benghazi. I really don't think anybody in the administration was really focused on that so much as trying to figure out, what we should be doing. And, I wasn't involved in the talking points process. As I understand it, as I've been told, it was a typical interagency process where staff, including from the State Department, all participated to try to come up with whatever was going to be made publicly available. And it was an intelligence product, and it's my understanding that the intelligence community is working with appropriate committees to kind of explain the whole process.
Well, thank you. I have some follow-up questions to that, but my time is up. But I gather you still stand by the statement you made less than 24 hours that heavily armed militants assaulted our compound and that you vowed to bring them to justice. You still stand by that?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Senator.